The levels of fruitfulness, there's levels to this, y'all. We're talking about the levels of freedom, the levels of the output or the response or result of us yielding to the fruit of the Spirit in our life. And now that I've yielded to the fruit of the Spirit, some places where I used to operate in love, I used to operate in hate, or maybe I used to operate in agitation. Now I'm operating in love. I'm starting to yield. I'm starting to do the opposite. I'm going back. Somebody put that in chat. I'm going back. What am I going back to? I'm going back to the Spirit. I'm yielding to the fruit of the Spirit. And as a result, I'm beginning to see some trees in the field of my life. This is a passage that we're looking at in Isaiah chapter 32. We've been really digging into where does the fruit come from? It comes from God. It comes from heaven to earth. This comes from a deposit of heaven to earth in our prayer closet. The manna or the bread of life. Give us this day our daily bread. It's from heaven to earth. It is a deposit. It's an impartation. And this is going to produce something into us. We're going to yield to this seed that's being imparted through the bread of heaven coming into the prayer closet. I'm spending time with Jesus. And now as a result, there's some seeds that are being planted in the bedrock of my heart. They're starting to come up. We're talking about this seed coming up. We're talking about this fruit. We're talking about being in the harvest season that never ends. Welcome back to Love Notes. So grateful to be here with you guys, to be a very small piece of this life and story that Jesus is doing with you and through you with no help from you because you're yielding his fruit. And where's this fruit coming from? It's coming from the nectar of his nearness. It's coming from the nourishment of his presence, the proximity of the presence, the purpose of the presence. And if you cling to the presence, it's going to produce purpose in you that you'll then walk out on your daily journey. That's my son, Royal. Shout out to Royal in the house. And so we're going to get right back into this passage. I want us to see there is a layering or a progression or a leveling up here that is available for us in this today. I want to talk about it with you. I want to break it down. And if you'll stay to the end of the video, we're going to look at some takeaways that we can put into motion so we can begin to see this forest building in our life that we can get lost in and we can run in the maze of God's glory and love for the rest of our days. And it's not going to matter what kind of sun's outside because we're under the covering of the forest. This gets deep. This is some good, deep stuff right here. And it's revealed not by flesh and blood, but by Christ himself through his Spirit living inside of us. And why is he doing that? Because somebody decides to put their world down so that he can pick it up and they can get lost in his. I catch up to the glory of God whenever I put my glory down and I go after the face and eyes of love. The passion and fire in his eyes, the man of Galilee, the God-man, he's looking at you and he's coming at you and after you today because he loves you. And so right here, watch this. Until the Spirit, verse 15, Isaiah 32:15, until the Spirit is poured upon us from on high. It comes from heaven. Put that in chat. It comes from heaven. And our wilderness becomes a fruitful field. This is our heart before Jesus. It's a wilderness. Not much nourishment there, a lot of traveling there, a lot of living in between seasons instead of being fruitful in every season, a lot of dodging consequence, a lot of dodging the responsibilities of life. Maybe it looks like I got it together, but inside I'm dying. Why? Because I'm in a wilderness season. So now Jesus steps into the wilderness. We meet the God of the wilderness. This is an imagery of him coming heaven to earth, the incarnation, the descension from the table of glory to the feet of washing to the foot of the disciples, washing with his blood. Peter says, wash my whole body. And now what we're doing in the place of prayer and intimacy is we're allowing him to drop these seeds, the seeds of his fruit, which is the fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Say that 5 times without smiling. And then now what we're doing is we are carrying the fruit of the Spirit in our life more than we are not. So I want us to see the layering here. There's levels here. So I'm carrying the fruit of the Spirit more than I'm not carrying it. And what am I doing right here? I'm giving you allowance to mess up. Because guess what? You're going to mess up. I'm giving you an allowance. What I'm not inviting you into is messing up. What I'm inviting you into is grace and mercy because you're going to mess up. There's none, no, not righteous, no, not one. The eyes of the Lord search the earth to and fro to find one man righteous, one man worthy, and he found not one. And that's why he sent his son Jesus. And so this is an understanding that we need grace and mercy. But what it is not is an allowance for us to continue to be foolish and to throw seed to the wayside. We want to harvest the seed internally, and we do it internally in the fruit in the field of our heart. And when we do this by stewarding the voice of God, by protecting our ear gate and our eye gate, what am I looking at and what am I listening to? What am I investing my time in? what this is going to do is this fruitful field is eventually going to turn into a forest. And that's what we're going to really land the plane in on this next discussion is this forest. Because what this forest does is it gives imagery and it gives a depiction of the body of Christ, the community of faith. Yeah, that's right. I'm going there. The church house, the house of God, the assembling together of the brethren that you are not supposed to forsake. So let me recap real quickly. Before God, wilderness. The Spirit's poured out from above. The goodness of God is poured out down on earth. We receive the seed of the gospel. It takes captive root inside of the soil of our heart through prayer and intimacy. Hebrews 11:6, I'm devoting myself to the presence of God. And now what I'm doing, I'm being rewarded openly for it. This reward is the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. And as a result, this fruit is bubbling up into a field, a fruitful field. And the last thing that it's going to do is this field is going to turn into a forest. And until next time where we discuss this forest, this canopy, this covering, all kinds of good stuff here. Y'all be blessed on purpose.